All right, hey kids, good morning. We are in Psalm 31 today, and Psalm 31 is a really special psalm because in the New Testament we see in the Gospel of Luke that the very last thing Jesus said before he died on the cross and then later was raised from the dead, the very last thing he said before he breathed his last breath was a quotation from Psalm 31 verse 5. Jesus quoted in Psalm 31, he said, "Into your hand I commit my spirit." He was speaking to God, his Father, and he said, "Father, into your hand I commit my spirit." So what was Jesus thinking about when he said that? What do we learn in Psalm 31 about what was in the mind of Jesus? Well, as we read this psalm, we see that David, even in the midst of really hard stuff, like in the midst of his enemy who was attacking him, and he was betrayed, he was abandoned, very much like we see Jesus in the Gospels, David shows us he's still trusting in God. And this is meant to be an example for us in our faith, but mainly the example of faith that we see in Psalm 31 is really a foreshadowing of Jesus' faith that we see in the Gospels. Jesus had this kind of faith that trusted in God no matter what. Even when Jesus was about to die, he can say to God, "I'm yours. Take me, God. I give myself to you. I commit myself to your hands," because he knows that no matter what, God is going to bring him through what he's facing. He knows that Jesus knew that God was going to bring him through death and raise him, which is exactly what God did. On the third day, God raised him from the dead. Jesus knew that, and so Jesus is able to trust God. He says, "I trust you even in the worst of situations." Now, when it comes to us, we can do the same thing. No matter what we have going on, we can trust God too, like Jesus did. We can say to God, "Into your hand, God, I commit myself. I commit my spirit. I'm trusting you. I'm leaning on you." And it's not just when we're going through really hard times, but really it's all the time. Because in Psalm 31, verse 15, David says here, he says, "My times are in your hand." So it's not just when I'm going through a really hard thing, "God, I trust you," but it's every moment of every day, every step, every part of my times. Every birthday. We have a birthday this week in my family. We were talking about this last night, about how God knows every birthday. Every birthday is in his hand. Every step of our life is in the hands of God, and we can trust God because we know he loves us. He has shown us his love in Jesus dying on the cross for us. And so my encouragement to you is whatever you got going on, even this Sunday, I want you to know right now, you can just think right now, God sees you, he loves you, and he holds you in his hand. You can always trust him because he's going to keep you. He's going to take care of you. He loves you. That's the message of Psalm 31, and that's what Jesus had on his mind when he was on the cross.